In this video, I'm going to talk about how we can treat eczema naturally. And I'm going to do it by sharing the story of my journey and then giving a list of 4 simple steps that anyone can take to escape the horror of this crispy skin patch syndrome called eczema. Also, the fact that you decided to seek out the natural path to healthier skin tells me that you may be aware of the dangers that the unnatural options like steroid creams pose to your health. Right now, I really want you to imagine a life without the torturous, itchy, flaky, burning red flare-ups that you currently suffer from. As a previous eczema victim, I know what it's like to suffer through a simple stretch in the morning. The day that everything began to change for me was the day that I realized that my skin actually holds the responsibility of letting me know when there's an imbalance within me. And that once balance is restored and maintained, I can pretty much kiss eczema goodbye. Or at least keep the symptoms at bay. Once I discovered this one truth, I was on the path to eliminating my discomfort for good. I've been suffering from eczema since my early teen years. My mom called it by a different name but didn't know much about it. Like many other people, she assumed that it was hereditary and there was likely no way to get rid of it. In the beginning, when I started to get the flare-ups, my symptoms were almost non-existent. At most, I probably had a dry patch or two on my back that would only itch sometimes. But as I grew into my later teen years, it started to get a lot worse. And I'll never forget the first time I experienced the peak of the fun when I took a trip to my home island of Antigua. And in case you don't know about Antigua, it's known as the Island of the Sun. In fact, if you look up the flag, you'll see a big bright yellow sun dead smack in the middle. And if you have eczema, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Now, the sun is great for many things on this planet, and it serves us in so many ways. Of course, this is obvious to everyone except for those who suffer from eczema. On the flight back, my skin was swollen, red, peeling, and as tough as leather. I felt like I was on fire, like the Flame On dude from Fantastic Four. I suffered through the worst sunburn in the history of mankind. The pain and discomfort were enough to push me towards some kind of solution or temporary relief at least. My mom started consulting with doctors, starting with our very own, who told me I had some kind of fungal breakout. So he did the common thing and prescribed steroid cream and advised me to use it in moderation, as it would start to thin my skin if I used it too much. I applied the cream every day for about 3 weeks until I started to see some changes. And I noticed the area where the patches were got lighter in complexion, which caused me to stop using the cream. The amount of time between me stopping and having the next flare-up was so small that I felt that the cream was more dangerous than helpful. I literally stopped using the cream in the middle of the week and was burning and itching again by the weekend. This indicated that I would have to use the cream a lot more than advised, taking on all the side effects and the threat of withdrawal symptoms if I stopped. At this point, I had no idea what to do next, so I gave up and just dealt with the discomfort until it went away. After my teen years, I would experience flare-ups about 3 to 4 times per year. They were always coming and going, and I had no idea why. By the age of 25 years old, I got a lot more inquisitive about life in general and started reading all kinds of self-development books by many well-known and respected authors. I even studied Eastern wisdom of wellness of over 5,000 years that revealed many shocking discoveries. The one thing that stood out the most from everything that I read was how important health is to us and the amount of things about us that it affects. I learned about what makes us different from one another, and why one person can live a certain way in terms of diet, exercise, and overall lifestyle and have really bad eczema symptoms. Meanwhile, someone else can live the same exact way and not have eczema at all. And this actually applies to most chronic conditions. So for those with the why me question, here it is. Ancient study talks about how everything in the universe, including the human body, is made up of 5 elements. So here's the breakdown. You have the earth, the soil responsible for our physical structure. You have fire, the digestive element responsible for breaking down food and prepping for assimilation. Then you have oxygen, or air, which maintains life. Then you have water, 72% of our body's content, responsible for the distribution of nutrients and cleansing. Then you have space, which is the inner space between our organs. If human beings want to experience the total health and wellness, these 5 elements are required to be within a certain balance. Now, the very thing that makes us different in terms of health conditions, both mental and physical, is the fact that each one of us possess predominant elements which would determine the type of conditions that we're prone to. Our elemental makeup can also determine our personality, traits, habits, tendencies. In fact, if you follow astrology, or at least know a little about it, you probably know that zodiac signs are closely related to the elements. Depending on when, where, and in what conditions we're born, can determine many things about our lives. This is an ancient wisdom of more than 5,000 years that the indigenous used to heal many chronic illnesses. According to these ancient Eastern studies, we are all born with a specific elemental makeup. In other words, we're all like our own unique soup, if you will. So to avoid getting too far off topic, let me explain myself clearly. Let's just say that you and I both live a life out of balance and one of unconscious consumption. It may manifest as eczema in you, but as arthritis in me. Believe me, I know it can be frustrating to see your friends and family doing and eating the same things that you do while you're the only one stuck with the crispy skin syndrome. Well, their battle is of a different condition, maybe even one that'll make you grateful for your eczema. Or maybe it just hasn't manifested yet. Eczema and many other conditions are simply a product of imbalanced elements. And for those of us who do get flare-ups, the reason we get them is because of excess fire or heat within our system. Hence the terms flare, inflame, and inflammation. The key to keeping flare-ups at bay is knowing how to keep your body out of defense mode. Once the body picks up on a threat, whether it be a virus, toxins, or an injury, it will start producing white blood cells as a defense. If the threat is ongoing, the body gets stuck in the on position, thus creating more and more inflammation. So the main problem is that it's become normal for us to be an ongoing threat to our own physical existence. And if it wasn't normal, then we'd know a lot better. Once I started to make changes and acquire a brand new daily regimen 10 years ago, I never experienced another flare-up afterwards. This raised many questions as well as answers for me. Here are 4 tips for correcting this issue and freeing yourself from eczema forever. Number 1. Eat more fruit and leafy greens. To turn down the heat in the blood, liver, and other organs, one of the most obvious things to do is to basically drink more water and eat more water-based foods. The idea is for your body to become more alkaline than acidic. And you want to try targeting fruit with very high water content, such as watermelon, ripened bananas with the spots on it, grapes, berries, apples, and pineapples. Probably the most significant thing that I changed was my breakfast. You definitely want to replace the common eggs, meat, bread for something more light and cool. To be quite honest, many of our Western philosophies and beliefs about diet is what branded us as the most overweight and chronically diseased country in the world. How many times have you heard growing up that the most important meal of the day is breakfast? Although this is true, the most unfortunate thing about this statement is that to most people, this means to stack your plates to the ceiling fan. A nice hearty breakfast is the right way to go, right? Wrong. The very word breakfast tells us all we need to know about it. The period between having dinner at night and when we get up in the morning, the body's going through a short fasting process where it starts to rejuvenate itself. The morning is the time where it chooses to eliminate its toxins. So a big hearty breakfast would interrupt this process, causing your body to retain toxins, thus giving you more unwanted symptoms. So the first meal of the day is what we're using to break that fast. And whatever you choose to consume should aid in that process. A glass of room temperature water, tea, or ripened fruit, even a smoothie. High water content is the aim. Number 2, get enough sleep. The skin is known as the biggest organ of the body. While we're sleeping, our skin along with the other organs are going through a rejuvenation process, as I mentioned above. Around 7 to 8 hours of rest is ideal for the common person. Although you may think that you're getting sufficient sleep, don't forget to question the quality of the sleep that you're getting. If you're waking up every morning and having to drag yourself out of bed, this means the quality of sleep is low. This is very often caused by eating too late at night. Although there's no out-of-body movement, this will cause your digestive system and your mind to continue working, defeating the purpose for sleep, and apparently also interrupting the fasting process. Having discipline in this area will reward you by dropping the amount of sleep that you need to recharge, slowing down the aging process, and helping you attain beautiful skin. Number 3, cool showers. If you haven't experimented with cool and hot showers, this is extremely important when it comes to maintaining the right amount of moisture in your skin. If you feel that it's impossible to take cool showers in cold climate, use lukewarm at second best, or very warm in the beginning and cool towards the end of your showers at third best. Now this option would be a good fit for those who jump into cold showers as they would a double Dutch jump rope match. It definitely takes courage, especially during the first few times before you get used to it. There are many benefits to taking cold showers over hot, but the most relevant one here is to preserve the skin's moisture. Just think about the fruit that contains life, or any other food for that matter. What would you do if you wanted to preserve it? It will go in the fridge, right? As weird as it may seem, the same is true for the human body. The cold temperature of the water will not only preserve the moisture in the skin, but it has some positive effects on the energy as well. Number 4, natural oils as a topical solution. Topical solutions are only meant to hasten the healing process and will not work if used without the steps I mentioned above. Trying to heal eczema from the outside in will not get you very far. At best, you may add some temporary relief. Believe me, I tried many natural oils and creams even before resorting to the steroid cream. I even tried solutions like cocoa butter, which I was sort of raised to believe worked for everything. Now that I mentioned creams, here's one other thing to keep in mind when it comes to proper skincare. Despite what you were brought up to believe, most lotions shouldn't even be touching your skin, especially the thick ones. We have to keep in mind that our skin is breathing and taking in oxygen just like our nostrils are. Most people aren't aware of this, so they smudge themselves with thick lotions and block their pores. If you want healthy, vibrant looking skin, it's important that you use the right natural oils to moisturize so that you avoid creating problems for yourself. Granted, it's much easier to maintain healthy skin in hot climates even without applying much of anything if you're feeding your body the right amount of nutrients, water, and sunlight. However, if you live in cold climate as I do, or have symptoms, it would be necessary to use a topical solution as long as it's a natural oil that dissolves easily into the skin. Some good options include coconut oil, CBD oil, neem oil, grapeseed oil, and almond oil. And if you're looking for the best possible solution, something that you can add to the above steps and sort of burn the candlesticks from both ends and eliminate your eczema as fast as possible, I have just the thing that you need for both a topical solution as well as the interior. Check it out in the description. Now, provided that you work on all the steps mentioned here, you'll see results faster than you can say eczema free. I hope to read your testimonial in the comments of one of my blogs one day. Subscribe for more tips on eczema. Also look out for my future blogs. Thanks for watching.